Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. First of all, I would like to share that this session is recorded and we will share the recording afterwards. And my name is Borka Hajdin and I'm head of marketing at GridSphere and your host today. So today we will also have a Q&A session, and you have the Q&A question up on the top, and you can ask your questions during any time, and we will address them at the end of toward the end of the session. So today I'm together here with Luca Roccia and Edoardo Tonello. Luca Roccia is our CEO and founder, and Edoardo is our electronic engineer. And today we will share a bit more about GridSphere and SIMULA, our BESS sizing tool. And we will also cover today a bit about who we are, what we do, with who do we work, how do we support our clients. And then we will shift toward a bit more, let's say, interesting part, which is a live demo, where we will show how do you create a project and put your files and create everything that you need to know. And then the very last part is a Q&A session where you can ask your questions, and we will address some of the questions that were submitted from some of you beforehand at the registration form. And now I will hand it over to Luca.
Okay, thank you, Borka, and good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me well, and I guess so. I see my mic is green, is okay. So I guess we can go with the next slide, Borka. And as Borka said, today we will talk a lot about storage. And sorry, here I am. And people who know me know that I used to say that we have enough energy. What we need more is flexibility. So at GridSphere, we just focus on that. So we are 100% focused on energy storage. I've been doing energy storage since 2019. And since I came back to Switzerland a couple of years ago, I established GridSphere to support the ecosystem in Switzerland and in Europe to deploy more energy storage. So today we will talk about SIMULA, and which is actually the first step into our GridSphere larger platform. And essentially we help and we bring people from and partners from the idea to bankability, and then from bankability to profitability. So today we will focus mainly on the from idea to bankability, and then in the further sessions we will focus on the profitability. You can go to the next slide, Borka. And we work with, as I say, we work with the whole ecosystem. And some of you in the call is already our partners. We work with grid operators, utilities, and support developers and investors, really from the early beginning of the development of energy storage projects through the design, the delivery, and the management of the systems. Installers and integration are our partners, our boot on the ground, and we really try to provide value to the whole ecosystem in the energy market. So next, if we look at the development of an energy storage project, actually we start from a very early stage, from feasibility, and that's where we work with as an independent advisor, and we provide financial assessments and vendor agnostic advisory. We then jump in with the SIMULA platform that we will see today to really understand what is the value behind the meter, in front of the meter of energy storage asset. Our focus is mainly on the CNI and co-location, because this is where we believe that the market will mostly grow in the next few years. Traders, BSP, they are our partners, and we help them, they help us to bring more value in the energy storage ecosystem. And of course, we need partners on the supply chain. We need battery manufacturers, integrators, and that's why we are also building this network of EPC installers, and we provide them with access to tier 1 supply chain in the lithium battery market. And this will be for other sessions, but we will stay with you and with the asset for the whole lifetime of the asset through innovative and very profitable solutions that we are building up. Next. So now I know you guys are here not to listen about GridSphere, but to listen about the SIMULA platform. So essentially now I will share my screen and I will start showing the actual SIMULA platform. Some of you already have had access to the tool. Some of you is already using it, and some of you is maybe it's the first time that sees the SIMULA platform. So welcome to SIMULA. I will start just giving you a quick overview of what you have in front of you. Once you log in, and however, you can create your account for free, and for free, you can upload as many projects as you like. So there is not a cost associated with creating an account and uploading energy information about your projects. You can select language. We have 5 languages. You can go on light mode, dark mode, and you see the credit that you have left on your account, and I will explain this later. And here you're on the reserve area, and this is your username. On the left, we have the menu. So you will see the projects that you have. This is a temporary sample account user that I created, so there are no project associated. You will see the project dashboard, which is empty now. You will have access to all the pages here, and you can also change your account profile, phone numbers, address, email, and all the things. You can buy credits and check the transaction history on your account. So where does the experience starts is with the first project. So once you create the first project, and this is not a recording, so I will have to do it while I will speak. Sorry. Let's say, by the way, we are in Manno for those of you that doesn't know us, and this is Switzerland. So the first thing, you have to upload an Excel file. So a CSV file. CSV file is a very simple 2 or 3 columns, timestamp, production, consumption. So we have here a couple for this, and you can just copy it like this, and it's in. So the software will ask you what is the initial day of the simulation, let's say 1st of January. What is the timestamp on the CSV file, and whether you have watt hour or kilowatt hour as a unit. However, once you upload the file, give it some time to read it, and then it will give you an overview of what it received. And at that point, you can confirm whether or not the numbers that you see make sense. So here, for example, after reading the file, it says this is a 316 kilowatt PV associated with a load with a peak of 281 kilowatt. This is the annual production, and this is the annual consumption. You can check them if you are comfortable with it. Otherwise, you can load a different file. These numbers are okay, and so I approve and continue. So once I approve and continue, I can create my first project. So once I create the first project, and this is, let's say, the first step in the project experience, you will already have a number of KPI, I call them KPI, I mean key indicators of your project, and the PV peak production, total production, consumption, import peaks, and self-consumption and self-sufficiency. So this is essentially the starting point. So we have an industry, we have a solar plant, and we have users, okay, energy consumption. And so this is really the big picture of my project. So you will have here the monthly data. And by clicking on the monthly data, you can see day by day what happened in my project. So you will see, of course, the typical PV production curve. And this specific user, okay, for example, in this specific day, they had a peak just maybe a couple of hours before the sun kicked in. And so they couldn't cut this peak, essentially. That's an example. Here, talking about the peaks, you will see that on a monthly basis, we make an analysis of what are the peaks on that specific month. So as I said in the beginning, everything you see up to now is for free. So you just create an account and you just upload the data. That's what you get. And in this curve, I try to make it as easy as simple as possible. This tells you how easy it is to cut peaks, essentially. I mean, like, for example, on this specific month of April, you just need 49 kilowatt hour to cut 25% of the peaks for that specific month. Is a very little quantity of energy. The challenge of peak shaving is that you don't know when the peaks are happening. But okay, that's another story. However, so this is the overview of the project. Actually, if you want to go a little bit more in details, you can go to the energy profile page, where you will see on a monthly basis essentially the same things, information you saw before, but a little bit more detailed. Here, we still didn't configure a tariff, energy tariff. That's why it tells you there is no tariff configured. We will do it later. And if you see something wrong, you can always update a new file. You choose a different CSV file and you update it. So, however, let's say the numbers are fine and we go to the next stage, which, however, is you can get the tariff in many ways. So clicking here, down, up. I mean, I tried to make it in a way that you don't lose yourself while navigating. And this is the tariff page. This is a little big page because you have a lot of opportunity on this page. You can create your own tariff from scratch. It can be a flat tariff. It can be a time of use tariff. And here you can create as many time of use you want. You can add time here and tell what is the tariff, energy and transportation for that specific time. So this is a way. Other way to create the tariff is to go on the Swiss tariff library, which is the ElCom. We are synchronized with the ElCom database, and you can just say where you are and pick up a tariff. Okay, the one that fits with your case, and apply. So once you apply, okay, you have it there. And okay, you double check if it makes sense, and then you update the tariff. Something important, at this point, you have the tariff for this project, and you can always change it. However, you can always save it as a template. Okay, so I want to skip this for future use so that I don't want to go every time in the ElCom database. I create a template. Where are the templates? Here in personal library. So in personal library, you will have all the tariffs that you created, including the last one that we just created. So now, however, tariff is fine. We uploaded our tariffs, and the next step is to go to the simulation. So in the simulation, you see that you can choose what catalog of products you want to simulate. Because one very specific aspect of our software, our platform, is that we simulate real products. We are not making calculation, rough estimation. We actually upload products catalogs with efficiency, state of minimum and maximum state of charge, and degradation curves, so that your simulation is as close as possible to the reality. And then at this point, however, you can select what kind of products I want to use, commercial industrial cabinets, or I want to use a hybrid cabinet or a residential system. And for each one, you see the range of power. If you see, residential goes from 6 to 30 kilowatt, whereas commercial industrial goes from 50 to 1,000, so 1 megawatt. Let's say we want to go with, and however, I will explain to you more about the catalogs in a couple of minutes. Let's say we want to simulate the commercial industrial. I mean, remember, this is a 316 kilowatt PV coupled with a user that has an import peak of 280. So it's relatively a large industrial client. I mean, not large, but medium. So let's take the commercial industrial. At this point, you have to select what products you want to simulate, because you have many products in the catalog, 65. If you get an automatic selection, the software will automatically select a range of products, and it will tell you which products will be simulated. If instead you want to simulate just one or two or specific products, you have to go with the manual selection and simulate just the product that you want. This is the step where you actually use the credits. As you saw in the beginning, you have credits here. That's where you use them. And for this simulation, which is a 350 kilowatt system, PV, you pay 315 credits. Once you run the simulation, it asks you the confirmation of whether or not you want to start, and you say yes. So at this point, the simulation is in progress. So we have here, I don't know, 20, let's say 20 different configurations, 19. It will check one by one on a whole year. While this is going, we can go to another page, the catalogs. You will find in the software the catalogs, which are system catalogs. You cannot modify them. That's the catalogs that we uploaded. And we are talking with manufacturers in order to have them to upload standard catalogs. So you might have here manufacturer A, manufacturer B, which is actually uploaded by the manufacturer. As of now, we are uploading our catalogs. I mean, we are not a manufacturer. We have, however, supply chain contacts, and so we can drive you in selection of products. However, you can create and upload new catalogs. So you can upload a catalog here by, again, choosing a CSV file, as we did before. And give me just a second. Okay. I uploaded this test catalog. Upload and validate. It tells me there are 11 products. This is the second action that use credits. You upload catalog once, and you create your offering. And then if you confirm and pay, that's your catalog. So you have your own catalog, and this catalog you can modify. Line by line, product by product, you can modify any aspect of your solution. Let me go back to the simulation. It is done, of course, and we can go and check the results. Okay. Okay, go to the results page. So what we see here is actually the result. Can you make it in light mode? Because it's a little bit too dark. English and light. Yeah. Okay, so here you will see that every point on the graph is actually simulation that we have done. For example, here we are seeing 250 kilowatt 2 hours, and Edoardo before was showing other solutions. So what we do now, we have to select what are the system that the best fit our goals. If you see, you have 2, 4, 6, 8 years of payback time on this graph. on the x-axis. So Edoardo, you can select 3, 4, 5. Select 5 solutions, the one whatever you prefer. And once you select them, okay, you can then, okay, if you go down, you have a comparison of the selection that you have done. So we have now selected 5 different system configurations, and the system is telling you what they perform in terms of self-consumption before and after, payback time, annual revenue, and change of import-export before and after the energy storage, and the self-sufficiency. So once you select the solutions that you like the most, then you can proceed to the financial model. So to proceed to the financial model, you have to click on the right, which is proceed to financial model, and you will be prompted to the financial model page. Maybe Eddie, you can zoom in a little bit. Looks like your screen is very big. Okay. In, not out. Oh, yeah, okay. Ah, that's much better. Okay. So now we are in the financial model page, which is actually essentially the result. On top, you see the financial parameters. You can edit the financial parameters in line with your actual situation. So the cost of capital, the duration of the financial model, the inflation of energy that you want to consider, if there are CAPEX subsidy on the cost, and if there are tax benefits. So once you change it, you click save, and you have saved the new data. And now is the most interesting part. These 5 sections, they are the 5 systems that we selected. So if we click on any on the right, it will show you how it performs in terms of revenue generated on a monthly basis. So if you see on top, we have 3 colors. We have the biggest color, which is related to the self-consumption. And then you have a gradient of a blue color, which is the peak shaving. Actually, what we are doing a statistical calculation to calculate the base case and the best case of the peak shaving. So we actually calculate how easy it is to reduce the cost of the peaks, and we show you in the graph. So once, however, you have seen these solutions, the next step is to go down and go down, Eddie, please, and to run the financial model. So the financial model actually is the very end of this process. So you will see the 5 configuration that we have selected with net present value, IRR, and discounted payback years for each solution. By clicking on each solution, you will see the actual financial model. So we have set up 15 years, so you see 15 years, and you see the NPV, IRR, payback, and total CAPEX for the specific configuration. This, for example, is 100 kilowatt, 208 kilowatt hour. In this specific project, it gives you a 4.31 years, 4 years and 31 of payback time. This is a very good business case, essentially. You might wonder, how did we calculate the initial CAPEX? Actually, what we are doing is we are making standard market analysis. We know the cost of the products because these are based on real products, and we provide you a suggestion of CAPEX. What you can do, however, if you have a different scenario, is to go back to the catalogs and create a specific cost structure that will reflect the actual project that you are working on. So to do it, of course, you need to have your own catalog uploaded. So this is essentially the full the full picture of the journey in the software. Go back to the financial, please, Eddie. And because we have a couple of new incoming possibilities here. On one side, you see that you have the download simulation CSV. Actually, you can download a CSV file, an Excel file, that shows you the result of the simulation. So you will actually see how the battery behave based on our algorithms and our simulation. So this shows you that we are not making estimations. So we are actually making real simulation of the battery in that specific project. And I can eventually, just a second, I can show you here because I have it. Actually, this is the result when you download the CSV file. Actually, it's on a 15 minutes timestamp, and it will show you the state of charge of the battery in this column. And this lets you understand how you're using actually the battery. On one side, okay, this is very engineering kind of information, but on the other side, actually, this you see here, this means that in these days, there was not enough sun production to give energy to the battery. So we are actually simulating the real behavior of a battery. We are not making just rough estimations. That's what we want to say. And it is very important, this aspect for us, because this helps making the investment more bankable, is more reliable. The calculations are real, and we can demonstrate that the battery will essentially do this in this environment. So this is essentially all for the software. Can you go back, Eddie, and share again the page, please?
In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Okay. Just one moment. Let me see if I can take control again. Okay. So are you sharing this? Yes. Okay. So I just want to say that on the left menu, anyway, you will have also the profile, the traders menu. Essentially, you can click on it, Eddie, on traders, please. As you see, this is coming soon, and I want to share with you the news that are coming soon is, and this is the big value of the platform. Actually, we work with traders, and we want to help traders to get in touch with more and more flexibility asset in Switzerland, in Germany, and in other countries. Essentially, once you finish your simulation and you are on the financial model page that you can show again, this is you have a push button here, trade offer. It's not active yet. So once we are completing the process, you will be able to inquire traders and to get an actual offer for your energy storage that you are simulating. So actually you are not yet building it, but you can have an understanding of how much a trader can help you in monetizing your asset. There are always months during the lifetime of the project where you cannot really make a lot of money with the battery storage, maybe because you have not enough sun production. And that's where the trading actually kicks in. I just wanted to give you an update about this and to let you know that we are organizing more and more webinars like this so that you can you will see the development of these new features. Now, Borka, maybe we have some time for some Q&A. I don't know if...
Yeah, we already have one question from Nina, and she said if the battery is only charged with PV access in the simulation.
Okay, that's a good question. Essentially, you can... The real answer is depends. If you you go to the tariff page. In the tariff, you can tell to this system if the algorithm is allowed or is not allowed to charge from grid. So now, for example, we have enabled it. However, what it means that if you have a tariff which is very low at night and it's standard during the day, the algorithm will automatically simulate a night charging so that you can take advantage also of arbitrage. However, the reason why we have made it possible to disable it is because sometimes in certain countries, for example, if you are an energy community, you might be not allowed to charge from grid. So in this specific scenario, you have to uncheck this and disable the grid charging. In other scenarios, for example, you have, and this is again energy communities, you have to pay a tariff for the energy that you exchange within the community. And that's why we have this transport tariff. So this transport tariff applies to the energy which is exchanged between production and consumptions, again, within the simulation. So essentially, we have built this after a few clients were asking us to simulate energy communities. This is especially in Switzerland, this specific configuration, but of course we can change and adapt to other countries. We are already doing for France and for Germany, so that we can contemplate different structures in different markets. I hope I answered to the question.
Perfect. Any more questions from the audience?
Yes, you can go, Borka, to the... I saw coming a few emails before and questions and so on.
Okay, then I will go with some of the emails that some of you asked in the form. So one of the questions was, what kind of input data is needed to run a project?
Okay, so okay, we have seen it in the presentation. Very simply, you have a CSV file, an Excel file. Minimum is 2 columns, production and consumption. You need to know how much you pay for energy and how much your export of energy is remunerated, if any. And essentially, this is all you need to do in order to be able to run simulations in SIMULA. We are taking care of the, on the battery side, we are taking care of the CAPEX, OPEX, and efficiency and technical parameters of the batteries. You only need to tell to the software energy consumption, energy production, and how much you pay for energy. And that's all essentially. So it's we try to make it as easy as possible to run simulations. Next.
Okay, then how do you calculate payback, IRR, and NVP inside the platform?
Okay, so initially, when you see the graphs with the points, that's a rough estimation because we still didn't ask your specific financial parameters. So once you have the financial parameters, then the final financial model considers degradation of batteries, consider inflation of energy price, and consider the cost of capital. So essentially, even if it is a simplified financial model, is a very precise one and takes care of all the major parameters that you need to consider when you make a financial model. And of course, the length of the lifetime is also a parameter that you consider. One important thing, however, we are always considering, and this can be a top-up, we are always considering that the value of the asset at the end of the life is zero in the financial model. The reality is that unless you really stress the battery, I mean, like you can go over 50 years or 16 years with an energy storage system. So, I mean, I just want to say that there is remaining value that in order to be conservative, we are not calculating, but the reality is that most of the time you also have a residual value that in the financial model.
Okay, then how is peak shaving and EV optimization combined? Is there a virtual splitting of the battery in the simulation?
Okay, you said peak shaving and?
EV optimization.
Okay, so peak shaving, okay. I'm trying to understand what EV means, but okay, let's focus on the peak shaving. Of course, the peak shaving is easier to do when you already have the information. Is more difficult to do when you are in the real life. That's what I say usually. So, however, what we do, and that's why we give a sensitivity to the possibility to make peak shaving, is we actually analyze the data. We calculate statistical mathematical parameters that helps understand whether or not the specific client has a profile of load that can permit to make a good peak shaving. So we have essentially statistical, I'd say, parameters, and based on it, we calculate the sensitivity of the peak shaving. So we look at the month because it's a monthly value, the peak. We analyze what is the peak, and we do something which is called a water filling of the peaks. And essentially it's a little bit of engineering, but we are very realistic. Just what I want to say, if we say that you can save 500 euro or 500 Swiss francs in a certain month, it means that you could potentially save more. So we are giving most of the time conservative values because we want to be realistic. We don't want to just be optimistic. So we give you realistic value based on the actual profile of the client, of the user.
So Nina just corrected. She said self-consumption. I guess not
Okay.
EV optimization.
Yeah. So no, the self-consumption is easier. Level 0 is if you have export, you charge the battery. If you have import, you discharge from the battery. Reality is we also consider the tariff at that specific time of the day. To be very honest, I have never received until now data of a hourly tariff, to be very honest. But I expect that in the future, this will happen more and more. And so it might be that we will have to make a little bit smarter also the self-consumption. As of now, the self-consumption, as I've never seen it cases where it needs to be super smart. It just take the energy excess or gives when there is an import from the grid. The only goal is to limit and to minimize the exchange with the grid. That's what the algorithm that we have for self-consumption does, minimize the exchange.
Okay, sounds good. We have a couple of more questions. I know we are already close to end of time, so if you have any more questions, feel free to submit them, and then we will come back to you when we send the recording. We will also send the answers to all of the questions. So, do you have time for one more, Luca, or we are
Yeah,
gonna wrap?
of course. Of course.
Okay. One of them is, can the catalogs be modified and can it simulate a single product?
Look, the catalog, you cannot modify the system catalogs, which are the catalogs that we have created in the platform that everybody can use. You can upload your catalog and you can modify it as many times as you want. So, for example, if you are a system integrator in EPC and you have like, I don't know, you usually work with the manufacturer ABC and you want to make the simulation exactly with the product of your partner manufacturer, you have to upload the data of your partner manufacturer. Because actually, we don't only ask the price or the energy. You have to input the efficiency, you have to input the limit of the state of charge, and you have to really detail the behavior of the battery, including degradation, so that when you do the simulation, you know you are simulating your product and your solution. So I believe this is very useful for contractors, electrical contractors and installers. And this is an opportunity, however, also for battery manufacturers. They may want to be a system catalog, let's say, in the software, and of course they can reach out and we can discuss about it.
Okay, so we already spent all of our time. Thank you so much for joining us today, and feel free to reach out if you want to test SIMULA. Please write to us at simula@gridsphere.energy. And we also will give 200 credits to each of the participants so that you can test it. And you will also have a demo account that you can see how the product really works and how to move through everything, through all the features that they are. And I don't know, Luca, if you want to add anything else.
No, of course. I mean, like, I'm very excited. This is the very first webinar we organize on the platform. And I'm excited that I already know that there will be more webinars because we already are working on the next things. I promise I will take care of the system a little bit better next time so that I don't have to jump to somebody else's laptop during the presentation. But, you know, this is because, I mean, like, we didn't pre-record or something. We just do things live. And that's how we do. So just join us and go to simula.gridsphere.energy. You can sign up for free. You can upload as many CSV files as you want, and then give us a call, send us an email, and we can see how we can help you on your energy storage project. That's all. So thanks a lot, guys, for participating.
Thank you very much.